All right, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard only video. Today is a special day. It's a big day in our long job here of just leveling heroes. So today we're going to be talking about the 4 starting heroes. Now, we're not going to be pitting them against each other in this video. This is literally just a kind of overview of each one. We may play them in a couple of areas just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But we're going to kind of just show them and see what they're all about. And I know a lot of people, it's your first big decision. It's the first big decision you make in Raid Shadow Legends. What starter hero to pick? Now, in the long term, I don't feel like there's really any difference. Like you're going to end up getting heroes that are better. You're going to find heroes that'll do the jobs that they do better. It's just going to happen. Eventually you'll just find heroes and you're going to kind of start pushing your starting heroes to the back and probably won't use them as much as you did in the beginning. Now, for me, it's a little bit different because I only pull mystery shards. So it took me a long time to really even get. I mean, you can just see all the heroes that are up on the screen right now. It took me a while to get those. And yeah, I do use a lot of them more now for high end content, but I still do pull out the starting champions and I do still use them in some areas of the game. So let's just kind of go through each one separately. I tried to build them all almost exactly the same, but not exactly. So Kale and ethyl are the first two. Now, those two are the ones that I built a little bit differently than the other ones. So then you have galek and you have elhane. Now, Kale and ethyl, I feel, are better suited for a more defensive, not completely defensive, just a more defensive build. All right. Now, Kale is a poisoner. That's what he does. All right. His skills are all poison. So basically, he has an attack where he does an 80% chance of placing a 2.5% poison debuff. He's got an AoE that wrecks people. So if you do put him in all attack, he's very good for farming in the campaign. You can use him for a lot of things early game. He definitely will beat a lot of champions out, especially in lifesteal gear. If you get him really fast, he's good in the arena. Like he's got a lot of things going for him. His A3 attacks 4 times at random and has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison for 2 turns, which is amazing for stacking poisons, especially on clan boss early game. He's a great hero for the clan boss, and honestly, it's the main reason why I think he's the first hero that everyone should pick. He is definitely He's definitely the most versatile of all of them. He's a great attacker. He's got the poison, so he can be used in clan boss. He can be used in almost every dungeon as a boss killer if you decide to put him in high accuracy and defense and just let him poison the hell out of everything. So he's really good for that kind of stuff. As far as the masteries go, me personally, I actually did use him as more of a campaign farmer slash all rounder in the beginning. So we did push him into Helm Smasher because we were using him in the arena as well. We did put him into some of the other little things like has a 30% chance of decreasing skill cooldowns. We gave him the shield buff. I think it's this one, right? Yeah, places a shield when he kills something because we were using him as more of an all rounder. He's literally to this day the only hero that I have respect his masteries, and that's it. He's the only one that I've ever changed, and that's because I finally found a niche for him where I was going to use him, and now he's set. So, but this is where we use him now. We have him with War Master. We have him in a lot of accuracy-driven stuff. We want him to reduce his skills. Anytime you get a cooldown skill, it's awesome. It's a good thing. Even if it's only 5% chance, sometimes it's that one thing. All right. He does have an extension on any debuff so that he can extend his poisons. And the War Master is great because he does extra damage when he hits. So that's great. Now, let's go in here. So his skills, we do have him in the Phantom Touch Blessing. Pretty much every single one of your attackers is going to have this if they're rare. I even have a few heroes that are epic that I put in Phantom Touch because it's that good. So yeah, it's that. Now, we have him in Lifesteal gear. Now, obviously, it's not the same gear that you get in the beginning, but you can literally throw him in the gear that you get from logging in for the first 4 days and just throw him in the Lifesteal gear and then maybe throw like an extra attack set on him or something, whatever you got. Break defense, ignore defense gear. That's a 2-setter. You can get that, whatever you want to use. I have him in speed right now because we wanted to speed him up a bit. He had really low speed. He's still pretty low, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. We have him in a crit damage glove. We have him in a defensive chest. We have him in a speed boot. Attack we have on the ring, we have crit damage on his amulet, and we have defense on his banner. I would recommend switching him out to an accuracy banner. I don't know if I have one. We may end up doing that eventually later on. No, we do not. That's why he's not in one. To be honest, he should have an accuracy banner because you want him landing those poisons. Right now, his accuracy is trash. I already know this. All right. So don't think this is going to be like that video where everybody's perfect. It's not. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of all the starters and giving you a little more information before you choose your hero. So yeah, I would definitely say he is the best. He is the best in my opinion. But I don't think that choosing any of the other ones is going to ruin the game. It just might make the early game. We're talking like the first 2 weeks a little bit harder in beating content and pushing through, which could affect you long term if you don't beat things early in the first 2 weeks after for that starting period. But yeah, we got him at 30,000 HP. 3,300 attack. We've got 2,500 defense. His defense should be higher, to be honest, if you're going to use him against bosses with poisons, and you should probably lower his attack and get his accuracy up. Speed is 180, 200 would be great. Crit rate is 82, just below the 85 threshold that they should be at, but he still crits almost every time. I don't think I really see it very often that he doesn't, unless he's against the wrong affinity, which would happen regardless of what his crit rate was. Crit damage is 178, probably want about 200 on that. Resist is 121, and accuracy is 123. Definitely would want something 200 plus for accuracy at least for him, but we're talking late game. Early game, just as much accuracy as you can throw on him. So that is Kale. Now, ethyl is my least favorite one of the four starting. She just doesn't have a lot of utility. She has a weaken. She basically has a self buff, which late game is basically useless because you have other heroes that are way better that can do more things that are going to buff your team and give you a better buff than what she's going to do for herself. So she's almost a wasted character at this point. I would honestly prefer they just chose someone else as your starter, but I'm going to assume the storyline is going to not let them do that. So let's look at what she does. Skills. She has a 3-hit with the weaken. Now this is really good for Fire Knight early game. I don't think I would use her later game. I believe we did just do a video on her separately. You can go watch all the videos on each one of these heroes where I play them each separately, and I kind of go through them and where they're useful. But she has a weaken that hits 3 times, so it's really good for breaking the Fire Knight's shield. She has an AoE that hits all enemies. That's really all it does. It's just a damage skill. And then she has an increased attack and increased defense buff on her and takes an extra turn. Literally does not matter. They could literally have just put, I don't know, any one of these skills where it increases attack and defense and then just does the skill. Like that could have been this skill and then just give her another skill. Like it doesn't even matter what it was. It could be a ally protect. It could be an attack skill for all enemies. Literally any skill, and it would have made this hero just way better. But I feel like it's just a wasted skill at this point. She does have Phantom Touch Blessing because we want her to have more attack, obviously. Masteries, I did go a little bit different, but kind of close to Kale. We went down into Giant Slayer on the masteries. This basically is because she has a 3-hitter on her A1, and you want her to get extra damage every time she hits. So that's why we do that on Giant Slayer. We do go down the accuracy tree. I went a little bit over here to extend the duration of any buff. So at least when she does cast her buff, she can extend it. And then we've got her in decreased turn meter and a couple other things because I think Fire Knight's really where she's going to shine. So any decreased turn meter in Fire Knight could help it and get us through it. Now, artifacts, like I said, we put her in lifesteal again because I'm trying to get them all as close to each other as possible. The only reason she's higher power is because she has a lot more resist than the other heroes, which is why she's a little bit stronger, but that's her. Glove, we have her in a crit damage glove. We have her in a defensive chest, and we have her in a speed boot. Now, the reason I chose defense, like I said, is because I want her to be a little more defensive for Fire Knight because he does hit really hard in the higher stages, and the waves can kind of crush you. So I did go a little more defensive. It really hasn't affected her gameplay. She's still pretty good. She does reasonable damage, and she doesn't die now, so that's kind of good. We do have her in an attack ring. We have a crit damage amulet, and we have a resistance banner. You could do accuracy if you're really focusing on that weaken. I do the resist because I just don't want her to get stunned and I want her to keep attacking. So that's really it. And we don't want her to get hit with any debuffs. That's why we did what we did. As far as total stats, we've got her at 31,000 HP, 3,300 attack. She's got 2,500 defense. Like I said, she's basically Kale. Her speed is 167, just below Kale. Should be way higher, but it's just what I had at the time. I'm still working on finding pieces for her. She was the most recent one that we built. Crit rate, 73. Crit damage, we actually have it reasonably high, 191. Resistance is 174, which is where her power comes from. Accuracy is 81. Like I said, you could switch an accuracy banner if you really want that weaken. That's up to you. But yeah, she's not that great. I mean, I've shown her. She's the slowest campaign farmer. She doesn't really bring much value to the clan boss because by the time you would have her masteried out and she would do more damage, you're just going to have better heroes for the clan boss. She's not really good for Doom Tower that much. Like there's plenty of heroes that have weaken and attack down that can help you out more than she will, and it'll bring more utility. She's basically a great hero that is just overshadowed by every other hero because she's not terrible, which is the crazy part. She's no way terrible. She's just not good versus other heroes. I mean, you could use her and she'll get you through stuff, but she's just not that great. All right, so those are the two that are a little more defensive built. Now we've got Elhane. Now she is really good in the arena. Very good in the arena, actually. She's kind of a monster in the arena. And if you're more of a PvP based person, you don't really care about a lot of other stuff, you could just get her and build her in a ton of crit damage and just make her a monster. Now, mine is not built correctly right now. She's just in gear. Her crit damage is terrible. I haven't built her very well right now. She's just good enough right now. She's actually my lowest power version, and I'm looking to find some gear right now. We actually just started farming, so we can get her up in crit damage. Now, her skills, she attacks one enemy and places an extra hit if it's critical. Zero utility. Literally just damage. She attacks one enemy, then attacks all enemies, has a 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit, places 30% increased crit rate on this champion, so she's selfish, for 3 turns if the target's killed, which actually is good because she'll kill things a lot. So once again, this is zero utility. You're probably going to have crit rate on her, but she just kills things anyway. But it's good because you could add more crit damage and not worry about crit rate so much. And then she has an attack all enemies 2 times. Once again, zero utility. Elhane is a zero utility hero. She does nothing for you except kill things. That's it. That's her job, and that's it. She's really good at it, all right? Masteries. We built her as more of a defensive kind of like arena hero. You could build her as a campaign farmer, in which case you would probably do a different tree. I don't think it would hurt you too much to do defensive, but it would really more change your offensive tree if you were to use her as a campaign farmer. So we definitely went down this tree a little bit. We went to Helm Smasher. We want her to have the ignore defense because it's really good for arena and it's really good for hitting other players and hitting any enemy that is just high defense. Now we've got her in some defensive masteries, removing debuffs so she can counterattack. Here we got the counterattack, say, if someone loses skills, reduce damage she receives from a specific enemy, good for bosses or something. If you just need to have a boss that you're trying to just beat with, sheer damage, it is possible. But that's how we have her built. We did use her in the arena. As far as her artifacts, we have her in lifesteal, all right? And she is more crit rate right now. Eventually, we will change her over to crit damage once we get more crit rate pieces. Like I said, I just didn't have the gear. She has an attack chest, speed boots. She's got attack on her ring. She's got crit damage on her amulet and attack on her banner. Now, the good news about Elhane is you can build her just pure attack. Defense is good, but she's more of a go first, kind of just wreck everyone kind of hero. So yeah, and you don't have to worry about anything with her. You just throw a bunch of attack on her and she does her job. As long as you have heroes that can protect her, she only needs enough defense to not die in one hit. That's really all she needs. Total stats for her are going to be a lot different than the other two. So now, as you can see, she's got 30,000 HP, but look at this. Instead of 3,300, she's boosted up to 4,600 attack because we want her to have an insane attack, all right? Defense, she's at 21, so she's lower than the others. Speed, 184. Crit rate is a little high. We could keep her at 84, 85 would be fine. Her crit damage is 120. I would like to find a crit damage glove and get her up to 200 damage, and she will do insane damage in the arena, which is what we want. Resist is 101, which is there because any resist is good in the arena because you don't want to get stunned or frozen or any of that garbage, or feared, really. That's a big one. Accuracy is 61 because she doesn't need it. So any accuracy here, literally this could be 0 and it won't change anything for her. So she is literally just a monster for arena. You can use her in Doom Tower as a killer for waves. She's got a lot of utility in the sense that she can kill things fast. That's her utility, is that she's her crowd control is killing stuff. So yeah, you could just build her as high attack, crit, and crit rate as possible, get some speed on her, and you've got a beast of a monster, all right? So that's Elhane. She would be honestly, tied. She's tied for second. I don't think there's really a difference between her and our 4th starting hero, Galek. So now, Galek is my personal favorite of the starting 4, not because he's better than Kale. He's just my favorite. I just like him. He's a cool hero. I like the way he attacks. It's more of an aesthetic thing. He does really good damage. He's got high multipliers. He's got a drop defense, which isn't that great, but it works. And yeah, he's useful. So let's look at his skills. He attacks one enemy 2 times. Sounds dumb, but it's really good for Fire Knight in the early game. Like, just hitting twice sometimes is just what you need. It's also good for Death Knight in the arena because he can attack something, which will go to Death Knight, and then the second hit will actually hit the hero that's it's supposed to be on. So if you have a hero that's got like a little bit of health, you could just attack it and kill it on the second hit, especially if you have Phantom Touch, which we do. Second hit, attacks all enemies, has a 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit, except it places increased speed on this champion. Now, once again, this is a selfish skill, but increasing speed by 30% just for killing things is good. Like, that's awesome. It just keeps his speed constantly going every time he uses this skill. So he's always going to be buffed with speed, which is nice. And that's even when he's by himself. So Campaign Farmer, win. Win, win, win. Attacks 4 times at random, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff. He can do the 60% if the target has more than 2 debuffs, which by himself, it doesn't work. But if you have like a poisoner in there or something that you could just debuff the guy real quick, then yeah, you get the 60% decreased defense. Really good for bosses since it hits 4 times too. Very good as long as there's no ads. If there's ads, it's going to suck because it's going to go all over the place. So like Spider, I probably wouldn't say it's great, but he is still good in Spider because he wrecks stuff. All right, Masteries. Him we built as more of a basic, kind of support hero. He does have the chance of decreasing a cooldown. Reason being, he hits very hard. He does have really high multipliers on his attacks. So this happens very often. So I do have this on there. Otherwise, he's the basic build down to War Master, and we went down into the chances of placing any debuff just so he can maybe get that defense down. 30% defense down is nothing to scoff at. Even 60 obviously is good, but 30 isn't bad. It's still a 30% decrease. So if somebody's got a lot of defense, it still helps. All right. Artifacts, like I said, Lifesteal. He has a crit rate glove. He's also in the same boat as my elhane. I just got to find better lifesteal gear for them. He has an attack chest, and he has a speed boot. We have attack on the ring. He's got attack on the little amulet here, but that's because I just didn't have one that has crit damage for orcs yet. Just haven't been lucky enough to find one. And we do have attack on his little banner here. You could throw resist if you're using him in the arena, or you could throw accuracy if you're really pushing for that defense. I have him at a reasonable accuracy for low game, but if you're really trying to get that defense down, then my accuracy sucks then. So 32,000 HP. He's got 4,700 attack. Once again, built just like elhane. He's got very low defense, which we really need to fix, to be honest. I would need a couple more stats. We want to get him at least over 2,000. Otherwise, he dies. But he does have the life steal, so that does help. 166. He's the lowest speed out of all of them. Terrible speed. I would 100% try to get this up. Crit rate is just where it needs to be. 86. Crit damage, 136. Not really high, not really low. Just not good. 87 resist and 145 accuracy. Once again, these are not great builds. They're just where we're at right now. All right, so he is really good as a starter just because he's going to be great for Faction Wars too. He's going to be great for campaign farming. He can do reasonable damage in the clan boss because he can drop defense, so that's good. He'll make the rest of your team stronger, so he can be used in early game. We're talking like the first 1 or 2 clan bosses. So he can help you out there. He's great for content. He really does shine with that life steal. He doesn't die. Very quick. He gets speed up, so he constantly gets turned. So yeah, he's great. All right, so now the question you're asking is which one should you pick? Well, honestly, long term, it doesn't matter. Short term, this is where this decision matters, all right? And we kind of just went through their pros and cons. Let's just kind of show them in action a little bit. We'll throw them all into fights. Well, actually, you know what? We're probably going to get our butt handed to us in the arena, but we're going to just throw all 4 of them in as a fight, all right? We're going to say screw it and throw all 4 in. So we'll get them all out of here. So here's your starter champions. We're going to throw them in and see who can do the most work. Now, the fact that they're all together doesn't really help because they don't really work well together as far as like synergy. There's no speed up. There's no attack up. Really, there's no like buffs here for that. So we're just going to throw them in and see how they work. All right. Now, this is an easy fight. So we're going to go to a hard fight. I just wanted to get it because it's fun. So now she does a little bit damage there. See, Kale can do crazy damage with that. Now, she's got the drop defense, and there you go. That was their damages. So they all got a hit. So there you go. You got to see their first hits on all of them. And here you go. This is what they did. 8,600 on Galek. So everybody got about the same. I think he hit harder than that. There might have been something weird there. He actually killed him, right? So yeah, this should have been higher, but he did 22. So they're basically in the same range as far as damage. Let's see if there's a team that we can actually possibly fight and win. This is not one of them, probably. Let's see if they can take down this legendary monster with that crazy. See, she's gonna just wipe the floor with them. But this is where defense is kind of important. But they can still win. There you go, 28K. He did do. So now we're in 5. We're going to be using these guys against crazy heroes. It just sucks because I want to fight these because I want the points. All right. Let's see. Is there a team? Oh, there's so many fights here. Here, we'll do this. They're going to kick my butt, but let's see if they can survive. This is just so you can kind of see their damage potential in where we're at. Now, they're probably going to get killed here in one hit. A lot of attack up. There you go. So Kale, with his defense, was the only one that survived that. This is why defense is very important. And now we just lost all those easy fights that I just had there. All right, let's see who we got here. Is there any other fights here that we can probably fight? Here, this is a tough one, but I think that we can do this one. Let's do this one. Let's see how they handle themselves against these guys. Look, unfortunately, my speeds are not high, so they'll probably go first. Yeah, see? I usually have a speed lead, so this is a terrible option to have all 4 of these guys as your arena team. But there you go. They're doing some damage, but they're probably going to die. This is very fun. I'm not going to lie. Even though they're dying, I don't care. It's very fun. But this is them in the arena. You can't do this with the arena. So now we're going to try them for real. Let's go back into that fight, and we'll try them we'll try one or two. We'll try we will do the girl who we said was for arena. So here, let's take them all out. We'll show them in their prime and how they're supposed to work. So now you should have a speed lead. I obviously have Arbiter. She's good, but it is what it is. So we have Arbiter, and then you're going to want a defense down, which we're going to use War Maiden. And then you're going to want a secondary, either attacker or speed up person. We're going to use our Yannicka. This is our actual team that we use. I just use Dark Elhane, so it's actually funny. So let's start. We're going to do auto again, just to see what happens in here if we have speed. Say now we have the speed up, so we go first. We drop defense. She comes in and does some pretty good damage there, as you saw. And then she comes in with her cleanup. And having that defense in the arena is much better, as you see. And there you go. Crushed. So now this is where elhane does good, as you can see, versus her dying the entire time. She did 127,000 damage now, more than Yannicka, more than War Maiden, and Arbiter is just there for speed. So there you go. You can use her as a arena person. Now you could do exactly what I just did with all of the starting champions. If you have a team, you would have, maybe Spirit Host or who's the other one? You could have Apothecary or what the heck is her name? Diabolist. These are all heroes that you can use in place of these. I've shown these many times. If you want to see those heroes, I actually have the playlist you can go check. All right, so that's where they start out in the arena. As far as dungeons go, Bastion. As far as dungeons go, I would say we can just throw them into any dungeon and see how they do. We're going to throw them into 15 just because I don't really feel like making these fights take forever. So we're going to throw them into 15 and we'll just keep the ones that matter. So here we go. Now we can just throw all 3 in. Let's see how they do in here. This is all just to see how they run. All right, we're going to start on stage 15. Can any of these guys be useful? And we're going to leave it on auto. Now, I would probably put an attack up hero in here probably, but having a healer, it was much better. And there you go. They just constantly will wipe the floor with things. This is officially the first time that I've actually used all 4 of the starting champions at once. I've never done this. I didn't do a test run with this. We're literally doing this on the fly. And they all have lifesteal, so they all can heal themselves back up. And you have Apothecary in here to kind of help you out to get through. So if you are having trouble, there you go. Decrease turn meter and weaken. So she's got the weaken. He's got 2-hitter. Luckily, Apothecary can heal everyone. Now they can heal themselves back up with all their attacks. Are they strong enough to make it so that they stay alive is really the question. I don't know because they might do too much damage here. So there you go, poisons, and now people are going to start dying. So it looks like even though Ethyl was built for attack, it looks like she's the one that's taken the most beatings here. This is a hard one to showcase them in, by the way, because this is a very high damage boss. And there's see, like this could literally kill them now. If they keep attacking the boss, it could end up being bad for them. There you go. See, it's going to kill someone. There you go. 2 down. Well, she can heal herself back up, so that's good. Let's see. Is this going to be a win for these two? All right, they lived. She's going to get a counterattack, which is nice. This is why a little bit of a defensive masteries can help. Boom, look at that. So ethyl and elhane pulled through. Kale and galek could not handle it. As you saw, galek was actually very low defense. Kale actually has defense, but he has a regular defense chest, which could be why he got smacked on that. She's got defensive masteries, and she's got an actual defensive percent chest, which is why they survived. But as you can see, they won. So there you go. Let's see. Next one. That's the highest damage output boss that can kind of come. So let's see how they do. Now, Spider, they're good. If I'm not going to go into 15, we're just going to show them in here. As you can see, I actually, this is wrong. Let's get these guys out of here. So we're going to take all them out, and we're going to put all these boys back in. Where are you? Where are you? I just passed you. We can just throw all of them in and start. Stage 10 is a really good stage to farm. So if you're going to bring these guys in as a, just wipe the floor with the boss team, I would probably get rid of one, like probably ethyl, and put in an attack up hero, and you'll do way more damage. So that's good. But this is a good area to fight and just kind of get some free accessories, and you get a high percentage of 5 stars. So if you're farming for 6 stars, obviously this isn't it. You're going to want to go for 20 or above. But yeah, if you're just trying to start out, this is your goal, is to be able to farm stage 10 as quickly as possible. So having a bunch of nukers for this fight that are maxed will really up the speed on this. You can beat this in like a minute. I think my main farm team is like 30 seconds or something like that for this. So it's really good for spider tournaments if you do tournaments. But look at those damages. Look at the damages. I love the damages. Smacking them up. But like I said, this is stage 10. This is mainly for starting. We're not trying to show the highest end content. All of these heroes I've used in high-end content, and they're all useful somewhere. It's just they're not really useful together because their purposes are almost in sync. Like they're kind of the same hero in some respects. All right, let's get out of here. Let's show them in Dragon real quick, and that'll be the last of the. And maybe we'll do a Doom Tower. We'll see. Let's go in here. All right, we're gonna go down to stage 15. Start, and let's get these guys out of here. Get out of here, you freaks. I say that a lot. Get out of here. All right, let's see. Can they survive the dragon? We don't know. We'll find out on the next episode of No One Cares. All right, so can they kill them, really? Kill that guy before he... Yep, there they can. The block damage is the worst. The worst. If they can kill the block damage guy quick, it'll save us a lot of trouble. Nope, looks like we're gonna get some block damage because I didn't put it on auto. Oh, so close, so close! We got it. Who's excited? We don't have to wait 20 minutes for the block damage to go away. They were able to handle the business of blocking damage. So as a team, they're not terrible. Like it's not. Obviously, this is not an optimal team. Like it's not. They're not helping each other at all. But you do have the drop defense from Galek. You've got poisons on Kale. You got pure damage from elhane, and you've got a weaken on ethyl. So, is there some utility in this team? Yeah, very little. Like this is like bare bones utility, but they're just strong and they have lifesteal, so they keep themselves alive and they can do these dungeons pretty easily once you get them built. And you can get yourself some 5-star frost boots with defense on them, which actually isn't a bad idea because it has crit damage, and speed. This is actually a really good boot for a defensive hero. I would put this on Greybeard, actually. This would be something that I could get on. If you get some good speed on it, I think it would be great. All right. So actually, you don't even need speed on him. Forget that. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go into Doom Tower real quick just to kind of see. I can't go too far because we just started this rotation. We've beaten all of the rotations, but we're going to go into the highest level that I've beaten up until this point. Yeah, we just finished Bommel today. We're going to go in here. We're going to take all these bonies out and see if they can handle themselves and if they die. All these guys. I bet you never thought you'd be seeing all 4 of these guys in a team, right? There we go. You could put a speed lead on these guys just to get them faster. Like, this would work with Spirit Host probably, because they have lifesteal. So, and she increases their speed by 10% the entire time. So, yeah, it could work if you want to speed the fights up a little bit. Now, these fights could go poorly because these are obviously, there's no removing debuffs here. I don't have any Doom Tower utility here. This is purely like we need to kill them before they kill us, kind of a situation. See, she does pretty good damage, Ethyl. I'm not really mad at it, to be honest. Surprisingly. Boom, look at that. Crap damage. But then she has defense up, though. She's a very defensive hero. All right, can they do it? I mean, I wasn't worried, but I was worried. This guy with his counterattacks, what a jerk bag. So there you go. They can do some Doom Tower. That was floor 49. I mean, that was one of the easier floors. If you're new, then that was not an easy floor. And I apologize for making it seem underwhelming. But yeah, they can work in there. As you can see, damages are pretty standard. I mean, it could just be that Galek didn't get an attack in. I don't think he did less damage. I think he just didn't get that last attack. Whoever, was the winning hit was what, Ethyl. So yeah, if he got another attack, he'd be in the same range as all of them. They're all essentially the same. I mean, they're all going to help you. They're all going to do the same stuff for you as a generalized character and can be built to work basically the same. The difference really, honestly, between them all is that there's just going to be a slight change in the utilities and certain areas that you can use them in and some that you won't be able to use in. All right. But all of them can be used for early clan boss. There's not much going on in clan boss in the beginning. I mean, you're doing like 300,000 damage. Kale will jump your clan boss damage up in the beginning immediately. Like he will get you to like if you're doing 200k with one of the other ones, you'll do between 5 and 800, possibly even 1,000,000 if you built them fast. Your first week, your first few days, to be honest. That's how good his poisons can be. So yeah, he's really good for that. Like I said, arena. I mean, there's really not much of a change there for elhane. She's just a monster. You can use Galek also in the arena and Kale. Both are really good for the arena. I would say Ethyl is the worst at it just because she only has that one hit. So if you don't one hit the team, she's basically garbage after that. The rest of the guys can actually do other stuff. So yeah, it's the 4 hitters and all that other stuff are good. The weaken is whatever. Like if you've got a Death Knight trying to kill you, that weekend, if you can't kill a Death Knight quick, that weekend is going to do nothing for you. You're just going to extend the fight and make it longer. So, because he won't do any damage. So he won't kill you, but you'll never kill him. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the starting 4. We're going to start doing a little bit of a series on them, and we're going to show them a little bit more. I'm going to probably put them in stage 20, like actual teams, where they're not just fighting by themselves, and we'll see how they do. I mean, I'm curious myself. I want to see which dungeons they're useful in. We're going to take them one dungeon at a time, and we'll throw them all in with real teams, so you can kind of see how they work, kind of like we did in the arena, how I put them with an actual team, so you can see them win, instead of get their ass handed to them like they did in the beginning. But yeah, that's it. That's the starting 4. Beginning heroes. Yeah, if you let me know which one's your favorite. Let me know which one you want to choose. If I said something wrong or if you hate me and my voice just, pisses you off, feel free to let me know. But that's them. Hopefully this gave you a little insight if you're just starting raid or if you want to, maybe you just started a week ago and maybe you want to restart because you chose the wrong one and you're like, screw this. I don't want Ethyl. She's garbage. I'd rather eat ice cream. I don't know if that's really what you're going to say, but that's what I'm going to say. All right, so this is the starting 4 heroes. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd. And you guys take care.